What's up, everybody? Logan Hanks here, and I'm so pumped to be back in action with the LH Farms channel. It has been a long time coming, and I apologize for the kind of hiatus that I had, but as I said in the soil erosion video, I have my iron in many fires. But I just got to manage my time a little better, because I do enjoy making these videos and people like to see what it's like on the farm. So back first, hey, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy it, if you like the channel, please subscribe so you can keep up. Hit the like button, and as always, share it with your friends if you enjoy it. I am here in the studio. This is actually, you can see I got my mic right here, Living Fully Loaded behind me, because I also do the Living Fully Loaded channel out of here, but this is also where Bobby Lee and I with Hurricane Creek Farms record our Talk Dirt to Me podcast. So in the studio, figured I'd start this one off in here, kind of show you guys where the magic happens. And I wanted to just update everybody because I've been a little AWOL. So a lot of new things in the works here. I have gone pretty big into the cover crop world now. Several farms this year are in it, and then got more farms that are getting into it this coming year. Trying to think anything else this season. Something I'm really excited to show you guys as we go through the year is I am getting into the agritourism, the patch type stuff more so. I've got 54 different pumpkin varieties. I've already got the seeds in that I'm going to be growing. I used to grow pumpkins, so it won't be my first rodeo, but this will be a much larger size operation of pumpkins than I normally did. Also, sweet corn. Also used to grow and sell sweet corn, but again, going to be a much larger scale. Lot of labor intensive on this stuff. That's the big thing, but you can make some good money, and so I'm excited to show you guys the growing season of that. Hope you guys want to see it, because I'm looking forward to sharing it. Okay guys, we are it's still a pretty crappy weather day. We're actually headed back here, gonna try out this, it's a Peritill, I believe is what they call it. And I think it'll be pretty interesting. Well, I'm gonna spill coffee. You know, I have a old thing, I believe. Coffee is more liquid than water. And by that I mean, like, I've got my coffee cup here. If I had water in this cup, I would never spill it. But coffee, I feel like you can just barely bump the cup, and you're gonna spill it on you. Like, I don't know what it is, but you'll never convince me that coffee, like, if there is 3 states, what, gas, liquid, and solid, or whatever it is, there's actually 4, and it's coffee. Like, that is more liquid than liquid, because it spills like crazy. So here we are. Anyways, tangent on coffee. We're about to try out this thing. It's a Peritill. And it busts up the compaction that's really deep, but it does so in a really, like, controlled manner. There he is running it. Now, you would never know that thing is going really deep. Like, it does an awesome job here. Okay, see, it's actually busting the ground. I mean, I don't know, that thing's probably running a foot deep or more. Like, it's going really deep into the ground. It's got some long shanks on it, and it busts the ground, but the way it's designed, it doesn't tear up the topsoil really, so you're not going to lose all the topsoil. So you're busting that hard pan and that compaction. You would run this on places where you parked the big trucks, or if you had drove the combines on a spot a bunch of times, or you know, just the ground gets packed down really hard. And that is what that primarily is going to be used for. It's awesome for stuff like that. I'm just spilling this coffee everywhere, but it's way too cold to stand out here. It is like April 8th here in West Tennessee. Oh man, and it's cold. cold as crap out there. It is sleeting. Is that sleet? This is blowing my mind right now. That's sleet. It's sleeting right now. April 8th. Wow. Okay. It was like 70 degrees just the other day. Our weather is so bizarre. Used to run rippers, is what they were called, and it was essentially, I mean, a very similar thing. All right. The ripper was a very similar tool as this, but it did not have the baskets on the back, and it was set up in a way like when it pulled the ground up, you knew, because it would have been giant chunks of ground that were picked up out there. But I mean, and as small as it looks, like it's about 19.5 inches long, or not inches, 19.5 feet long or so, and it's pulling hard. Like, that's an 8345R John Deere. I'm gonna say it's probably making that tractor work pretty good. Just, I mean, that's a tough pulling dude. Yeah, you can see him actually spinning right there. He's kind of hitting a damp spot, but it's making the tractor have to do some work, making the old 8345 growl a little bit. And there it comes. But it did a great job. I'm pretty pumped. We've been really anxious to see what it would do. And it looks like it did what we wanted it to. I mean, that's pretty slick. It just looks like random little lines there, but it's busting that hard pan up, so I'm pretty impressed. For what it is, it was a relatively inexpensive piece of equipment, and probably worth its weight, it looks like. So we're gonna take this tractor, and he's gonna unhook the, oh, it's a sunflower stalk. Gonna unhook that. I don't really have just a ton on the agenda. I was actually gonna go hop on the Trackhoe and run it for a little while. So I'm here at the grain bins waiting on Dad to get here to give him a ride, and I gotta point something out. John Deere, they ought to be ashamed. For several years, I'm about to show you something that they let ride that they should not have. So this is my dad and them's 8330. Look at this freaking hood. Look at that. I mean, that's ridiculous. We've put Gorilla Tape on there and spray painted it to try to blend it in. I don't remember the other side, maybe the same way, busted up too. No, well, it's split right up there on the top, and even back there. It's pretty ridiculous. They're notorious for the hoods breaking. I'm gonna try to see if I can show you guys him coming down the road. They finally did fix it, but it was years. I mean, several years of the crappy hoods on those things, and like I said, I think now they've changed the hood design, but yeah, here he comes. I will say there's something about a tractor with front duals that you just love to see. I do anyways. Front duals on a tractor just makes them look bad to the bone to me. So yeah, again, crappy weather. It's cold, wet, windy. Not a real great weather for us today, but wanted to show you this. The hood is just ridiculous. My 8420 obviously has a new hood on it. So I mean, it was many years of hoods that busted. That's like a ton of those models John Deere, you see the hoods busted up like that. And a new hood is like $5,000. So it's crap. It's one of the good things about running a Trackhoe, I'm out here on it now, I guess I should say, is you can run a Trackhoe pretty much when it's too funky to do just about anything else. I'll show you why that is. Here's where I'm working at. See the water everywhere. It is an absolute swamp out here. Trying to navigate my way back. Trackhoe. Man, I mean, water standing everywhere. This ground is actually considered kind of the Loosahatchee bottom ground, so it's pretty wet. Kind of a wet, swampy area anyways. Trying to pick the best spot back to the Trackhoe. But it's a swamp anyways. So you can see, I mean, it's a muddy mess here. But all of these trees got to go down. Where that is, all this stuff was, it was all trees. I don't know how much you can tell across there. All that was trees. I've been cleared some of it. But yeah, it's just a, I mean, it's an absolute swamp out here. But you can still run a Trackhoe. You just gotta watch, because you can certainly get a Trackhoe stuck. Knock on wood, I've never done that. If it ever happens, I hope I have my camera or GoPro with me. Okay, here we are. I am in the Trackhoe. You can see it here. That is the politically correct name. It's called a Trackhoe. Or I guess an excavator would be the politically correct name. Trackhoe is what it's known as. Show you around. It's nothing fancy. Got the super farm tent here. That's what happens whenever you're moving some limbs or a tree across and it falls down and the trunk blows through the window down here. So I've got some garbage bag duct taped on there just to provide something. It did also break this over, but it still functions. Dang, we need some diesel in this thing. But maybe it'll be good enough for me today. It's a Volvo 330. It's a big son of a gun. It weighs about probably 84,000 pounds. It's bigger than I really wanted when I got it, but I got it specifically for this farm to clear. This is that farm that I bought, and it's 130 acres. All of it pretty much had to be cleared back out. So that's what I'm doing out here. When there's really not a lot else that has to be done, it's pressing. This is where I come out here. I'm letting it run for a little bit to warm up. It's pretty dadgum cold. Can't get over the temperature and the weather for April 8th. But I'm gonna probably clear a little bit more right over here. I got a little push up there. I mean, you can see it's muddy in here. When that tree limb blew, like when it fell in here, it blew mud everywhere. It was super muddy. But it's a Trackhoe. I'm really not worried about it being like a Cadillac inside, as long as it does what I need it to do. So I'm gonna start clearing a little bit more over here, try to expand this little field a little bit more. Maybe I can take it that way. There is a ditch in there, so we'll just see what happens. see a little bit of the Trackhoe action here. I will say a Trackhoe is one of the most deceiving, I say deceiving, maybe it's not to everybody else, but it was one of the most deceivingly dangerous things to operate for me, because you feel pretty safe. Like, I mean, I got all the glass closed. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty secure in here, but then I've had some of those things happen where, like I said, that bottom glass is busted out. I've had stuff slap the roof and just know that it was about to come through the roof, and by some chance, by literally, I'm going to say the grace of God, it did not come through the roof. So, I mean, it's a very dangerous piece of machinery to run. My son he's four years old, and he's all the time, he wants to ride all the equipment, and I think I let him ride on this to move it from one place to the next on this farm. I was just honestly just walking the Trackhoe, and that's the most I'll ever let him ride on this with me, because these things are super dangerous. A lot, I know, I mean, you hear about it a lot whenever people get killed on a Trackhoe, and after you've run one for a little while, you understand how, and doing what I'm doing with it is probably about one of the most dangerous things you can do, because I'm taking down a ton of trees, and just stuff happens. I will give you a pointer. I had never even thought about this until my dad actually told me. He's run the Trackhoe a lot, and he told me to always keep the trees to the right side of the boom. Like, if I'm growing after a tree, I'm going to keep the tree over on that side of my boom. Didn't really think about that until he told me, and now I know why. When you keep the trees to the right side of your boom, you're actually shielded by the arm here, because everything's over there. If you grab a tree on this side of the boom, it's straight in front of you, and if it falls backwards, it's falling straight on the cab. So you use the Trackhoe to protect you as well. So there's things like that you learn, and thankfully, like I said, my dad is experienced on a Trackhoe, so he told me I didn't have to learn that the hard way. And so there's you a pointer. If anybody's listening, one day you find yourself clearing trees with a Trackhoe, be sure to keep the trees to the right side of the boom to protect yourself a little better. And also, never get really comfortable, because stuff can happen at any moment. I mean, when the glass got busted out of the bottom of this, I was very comfortable on this Trackhoe. I've been running it now. This is I guess this is about the third year I've been running this Trackhoe out here clearing trees. So I'm pretty dang comfortable doing that, and stuck up on me. It was just, I mean, just a couple inches probably from smashing my legs, basically, and being in pretty bad shape. I'd be making this video probably wearing boots on both of my legs, because that happened about a month ago, I guess. It's the first real scare I've had on this Trackhoe. I've had several on the bulldozer, but I don't know. I'm not sure which one I would even rank as more dangerous. Yeah, I can't even necessarily put one on that, but they're both very dangerous. You can get killed really quickly on these things. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep running this for a while. Take down a few more trees. It's 3 o'clock. I've already seen one snake. If I see a good one, I'll show you. This farm out here is notorious for awesome cottonmouths. I mean, some of the biggest cottonmouths I've ever seen. I'll also add, some of you may have noticed whenever I pick the trees up, you may see me bumping the joystick back and forth a good bit. I'm actually trying to knock off a lot of the dirt that's on the trees, because you don't want a lot of dirt in your push-up, because I'm gonna hopefully burn them. So dirt does not burn very well. I just got done. She definitely needs a bath. Thing is muddy, but you can see there, got a good bit cleared out today. I'm gonna say I've got probably 45 acres cleared out of this place now, which means there's about still 90 acres to go, almost around 90 acres, because it's about 130 acres total. We got a ways to go, but piece by piece, we got this part right here going, got a good bit up here in the front cleared out. It is what it is, but it's gonna be very rewarding when it's done. The farm is really strong soil ground, really strong soil ground. It's a weird way to phrase it, but it's very strong soil out here. It's like I said earlier, loose hatchy bottom ground, a few deer out there. It's always a bunch of deer out here. But I'll be very proud of this place. It's cool to get to see kind of the evolution of a farm. And I actually had a neighbor just walk up, had not met him yet, and super nice guy. I told him, I said, man, it's always good to find out that you got good neighbors by a farm. So it's kind of refreshing too. Like, you feel like, okay, if somebody's out here and they tear something up or set my Trackhoe on fire, my neighbor here will give me a call. I feel confident that he will. So that's always good to have good neighbors. If you're watching this and you live next to a farm, be a good neighbor. What is that? I feel like that's be a good neighbor. State Farm is there, isn't that the thing? I don't use State Farm, I'm Farm Bureau, but I digress. I'm getting all really random topic now. It's Friday night when I'm shooting this now. I got to get out here, do my nightly routine, take care of our cow. We got our little bottle calf out here, and I feed her a bottle in the morning and in the afternoon, or at night. And it's Friday night, cracked open a bottle of blantons, celebrate Friday night. Who knows what the celebration is? Do you even really have to have a celebration to enjoy blantons? I'm kind of a bourbon snob. I don't think you do. All right, I got the bottle here made up, shaking the last little bit of solid I see set up on the side of it. Oh, Annabelle, she can't wait. Guarantee you she's waiting on us. Annabelle, what you doing, you old goober head? Huh? You hungry? Yeah, you can't wait to get this bottle, can you? She hammers this bottle. We've been going in there. My kids aren't with me, but when they're with me, a lot of times I've been letting them go in because she's getting kind of skittish because we ain't going in and putting our hands on her as much. So we've been going in there lately and just petting her basically the whole time she eats and hanging out for just a little bit so that she kind of stays a chill, friendly cow. Our first bottle calf we ever had, I mean, she's a grown cow, several years old, and she's still, you can catch her out in the pasture and walk up to her and she'll let you pet her. Guys, I appreciate you watching the video. They're fun. It's fun doing these. I'm just not putting a lot of pressure on them. Hey, I'm just doing them. If you enjoy the style of how I'm filming them now, if you'd like to see me do something a little different, shoot me a comment below. Again, I make these videos for you as much as anything. I'm doing it so you guys can kind of see what it's like to be a farmer. So let me know what you want to see. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, share it, and just stay interested in the farm world, guys. Appreciate it. I was actually about to walk in. I had done made my little sign off video and everything, but I figured I'd give you guys a closer look at the Peritill that you saw earlier in the video while I'm out here. This is the machine, like this is the piece of equipment you saw behind the 8345 earlier. So these are the shanks that were going into the ground. I mean, you can see here, they were going like up to there. That's over a foot deep that they were running into the ground. And it's got these blades here in the front. They kind of pierce the ground. I'm guessing, again, I'm no expert on this, but I'm assuming that this is probably cutting into the ground to keep this from tearing it up quite as bad, because that's kind of cutting a path for this to enter into the ground, and that's going in. Because if you didn't have that wide shank, it would really bust the ground up. But I'm gonna say that that's probably because that's not going super deep, but it's cutting deep enough to get the shank into the ground. And then you got these rolling baskets here, and the way they're turned, you can see here, for aggressive action or firming action, the way these are rolling is actually for firming action. So it's not, I guess if you had it going, like, you can turn these around and it would almost be flicking the ground up. So you could make it be pretty aggressive on the ground, but our whole point in getting this was that we could bust that hard pan without really disturbing much of the topsoil. So you're getting kind of almost the best of both worlds of no till. You're doing tillage obviously, but you're kind of getting the advantage of no till by not really losing the topsoil, and you're also busting the hard pan through tillage and getting that. So I've got high hopes for that, because I've got several farms that they need it run on bad, and actually had some timber cut on a place where the skidders drove, the big trucks drove, and it needs it pretty bad too. So I'll be putting it to use as well on several farms. It's not something that we're going to run over a ton of acres. You only run it on like your compaction areas, but that's the Peritill. Pulls like a freaking, pulls hard, but does a good job. Guys, I'm getting up here now. Now I'm gonna go cook my steaks, drink my bourbon, have a good night. Thank y'all for tuning in. Cheers.